Bonjour and welcome to this new French class. Today we're going to talk about how to ask yes-no questions in French. Again, in many schools, teachers who are not native speakers tend to just throw you the three ways of asking yes-no questions, not really making a difference between the three ways, while there's a huge difference. So, number one that I listed is the way that most people use when speaking. Okay, it's sort of informal, but that's what people use about, I would say, 65-70% of the time. 60% of the time, 65% of the time. Number two is used about 35% of the time, 40% of the time almost. And number three is super formal. We'll go over that. And it's used less than 1% of the time in spoken French. It's super formal, which means that's what we use when we write in French, to write properly. Okay? So if your goal is to really speak French, number one is the most useful. You can also go with number two. Number three is really for literature if you want to be able to write French properly. All right? As you can see, we're going to start with number one. It's very simple, straightforward. We can just throw the subject followed by the verb. So it's going to look like a statement, but we're going to raise a voice, change the tone to make it a question. All right? Let's go over examples and see what I mean by that. For instance, to say, are you American? We're going to say, you are American. Tu es américain. Again, I'm saying this slowly, all right? If I were reading it, I would say, tu es américain. Tu es américain. I'm connecting the S to the vowel sound with the Z sound. Otherwise, it would be tu es, and I would not be saying the S. Again, keep in mind, if I said it fast, I would skip the liaison. I would skip the U as well. Remember, tu es will be pronounced te. So I would say, t'es américain. T'es américain. Remember, tu is informal, so you'd be saying that to someone young, younger than 18 probably. So I would say, t'es américain. Tu es américain. Other examples, do you like ice cream would be, you like ice cream. So, vous aimez la glace. Vous aimez la glace. Again, I'm making the liaison between the S and the following vowel for subject verb. And that one I cannot skip, even if I speak fast. I would still say, vous aimez la glace. Remember, la glace is the word for ice cream. Vous aimez la glace? One scoop is une boule. Okay? Only one scoop. Seulement une boule. She has two scoops. That would be deux boules. Okay? Only one scoop. Seulement une boule. So the E here is silent. The ENT is en. Okay? The ENT from the verb ending is silent, but for an adverb like only, it's you pronounce the EN. So en. Seulement une boule. Other examples. Does she speak French? She speaks French. That's how we would go. Elle parle français. Elle parle français. There's no way of saying this any faster. Or there's no contraction to make on this one. Elle parle français. I eat with chopsticks would be je mange avec des baguettes. I know you probably used to baguette being the French bread that you buy in bakeries, the baguette, but it's also a chopstick as une baguette. It's feminine, une baguette. So, je mange avec des baguettes. I eat with some chopsticks. Remember, some plus plural noun is des. Okay, des, not de, des. De is de. If I say it faster, I will drop the E and try to say je mange. Je mange avec des baguettes. That's how native speakers will say it. Je mange avec des baguettes. Get used to that, okay? Other example. Is she listening to music? We say she listens some music. Remember, we don't have the to after the verb to listen in French. We say you listen someone or something. So, she listens some music. Elle écoute de la musique. Again, slowly. Elle écoute de la musique. If I said it faster, I would say, elle écoute de la musique. Remember, de la, I told you that we would pronounce de la. Okay, the French will drop the E and pronounce de la. Elle écoute de la musique. Again, you don't have to say it that fast, but that's what you will hear in movies, conversations. People won't slow down. That's how they will say it. De la will be de la. Elle écoute de la musique. I think that it's a bit loud. Je pense is I think. Que that, we have to have it in French. I know you can say I think it's a bit loud, but we have to say I think that in French. Je pense que c'est un peu fort. I'm saying it slowly so they can see how we read it. Again, I'll emphasize how we read it as opposed to how we say it actually in a conversation. And that would be je pense que c'est un peu fort. I'm making the liaison connecting the T to the next U, to the next vowel. C'est un peu fort. Fort is the word strong and loud. It means both, strong physically and loud. If I said faster, remember, it's a super useful one. I think that, we say that all the time. Don't ever think that the French will ever say je pense. The French will contract those two. They will drop the E and contract, blend the P and the J together into je pense. The French will almost always say je pense que, not je pense que. That's what they teach you in any other class, je pense que. That's not how the French pronounce it. That's how you read it, not how you pronounce it when you speak fast. We'll blend those two words together into je pense. Je pense que c'est un peu fort. And if I spoke fast, I would skip the liaison here. C'est un peu fort. Fort. We don't say the T. That would be feminine otherwise. Okay? Ensuite, are you watching TV? We say you watch TV, the television. You watch TV. You watch the TV. Vous regardez la télé. Vous regardez la télé. Vous regardez la télé. If I said faster, I would drop the E, which is in second position. Remember that rule? The E without an accent in second position, second sound of a word, we'll skip it naturally. Vous regardez la télé. Vous regardez la télé. Stop, you watch too much TV. Arrête is stop or knock it off. I'll say it slowly again. Arrête, tu regardes trop la télé. So tu regardes, I'm not saying the ES. Trop, I don't say the P for too much. Trop, too much. La télé, the TV, television. Now, let me say it at a normal pace, and I'll tell you the letters, syllables that I skip if I speak fast. I will say arrête, that doesn't change, stop. I will skip the E here, and that's all, really. Tu regardes trop la télé. Okay, now the second way of asking the question is very simple. You just have to add est-ce que in front of what we did before, in front of subject and verb. Okay, you can put it in two ways. You can either consider that est-ce que is the equivalent of do, does, or did when asking a question. Do you like baseball? Do you like Friends? Did you do that yesterday? Does he like basketball? Est-ce que is like do, did, or does. Or you can take the literal translation, which is it that? So is it that you like coffee? Is it that you're American? Is it that you want to play soccer with me? Is it that we're going to the movies tonight? Okay, so you can just take any question that we did before and add est-ce que in front of it. If the next pronoun or noun begins with a vowel, we'll go with QU apostrophe to avoid having clashing vowels. Okay, let's see examples. Number one, est-ce que tu es américain? So is it that you are American? See, in English, you don't always have a do or does when asking a question when you have a verb like to be. Okay, so is it that you are American? So you can just say tu es américain or t'es américain, are you American? Or you can add est-ce que. If you're not good at raising your voice and to make it sound like a question, not a statement, you just add est-ce que in front of it and you're sure you have a question no matter what the tone of your voice is. Est-ce que tu es américain? We're supposed to raise our voice still, but at least it's obviously a question with is it that. Est-ce que tu es américain? Est-ce que, so the S that you hear, the T is not pronounced. It's EST together is est, that's the S. Que tu es américain. You connect the S as a Z sound to the A. Est-ce que tu es américain? If I say it fast, we say est-ce que t'es américain? Est-ce que t'es américain? D'accord. Ensuite, do you like Will Smith? Would be est-ce que tu aimes Will Smith? Or if I say it faster, I will drop the U and say est-ce que t'aimes Will Smith? Okay, est-ce que t'aimes Will Smith? He has a goatee. He has his il a. We know that already. A goatee is un bouc, like a goat. A goat is un bouc. So a goatee is un bouc. Okay, same word as goat. Il a un bouc. Bouc like a book. Il a un bouc with a French accent. Il a un bouc. He's got a goatee. D'accord? Is she French? We would say, is it that she is French? Est-ce qu'elle est française? Est-ce qu'elle est française? I'm saying the Z sound because she's a woman, so I'm adding an E. That means I'm pronouncing the S as a Z sound. Est-ce qu'elle est française? She has blue eyes. Not sure about that. I'm kind of colorblind, which is daltonien, by the way. Daltonian, we say for colorblind. Okay, this is what I am. Daltonien, colorblind, daltonien. So, est-ce qu'elle est française? Is she French? Elle a les yeux bleus. She has blue eyes. We say she has the eyes blue. She has the eyes blue. Okay, elle a les yeux Les yeux. I'm always making that liaison between the article and the noun. That's one that we cannot escape. Les yeux bleus. We don't say the X, we don't say the S. Bleu. Elle a les yeux bleus. She's got blue eyes. Do they live in France? Is it that they live in France? See, I told you QUE turns into QU apostrophe when it's followed by a vowel. So is it that they live in France? Est-ce qu'ils habitent en France? Est-ce qu'ils habitent? We always make the liaison between subject and verb. Est-ce qu'ils habitent en France? Remember the H is completely silent. Ils habitent. And the ENT is completely silent. Est-ce qu'ils habitent en France? If I said it faster, I will drop the L and say est-ce qu'ils habitent en France? Est-ce qu'ils habitent en France? He has a ponytail. Ponytail is called a horse tail. Okay, a tail of horse. Il a une queue de cheval. And when we speak faster, we'll never say une queue de cheval. No one will say that. That's only when I read slowly for you guys. But you need to know that the French will pronounce il a une queue de cheval. We pronounce it like a D apostrophe, okay? Il a une queue de cheval. Il a une queue de cheval. Repeat after me. Une queue de cheval. Perfect. Let's move on. All right, the third way, as I told you, is super formal, okay? And for some reason in school, they drill you on that day in and day out, while you will almost never hear it in a French conversation. It's very, very formal. We use it in written French to write essays, to write a nice letter, in books, in articles, you'll see it, newspaper articles maybe. But that's all, okay? I said less than 5% of the time. I would say even less than 1% of the time. So if you want to learn French for school, yeah, it's useful. If you want to learn French to have a conversation with someone, it's almost useless, okay? French movies, you'll never hear that, okay? Or a little more because French actors and scripts are kind of bad, I think. Sometimes. It depends. There are plenty of great movies. But the thing is that sometimes they sound a little fake because they use the inversion more than usual. So it makes the lines sound, the dialogue sound a little fake to me. But there you go. Are you here would be es-tu là? So that one works exactly like in English when you think of it. Es-tu là? You could have said tu es là. Most people say tu es là or t'es là. That's how people mostly say that. T'es là, but es-tu là? It's very, very elegant. Very polite. Another example. Do you study a lot? Oh, okay. I think I may have mentioned it before, but just in case you haven't heard or you forgot, the verb étudier is a verb that really belongs in the dictionary, should not get out of the dictionary. I know all schools, methods, Rosetta Stone, all of them, they'll drill you with the verb étudier. Well, it's a verb we absolutely never use in French, okay? I challenge you to find one person who will use the verb étudier when you go to France. We use the verb travailler, which is to work, okay? To work, travailler has two meanings, to work and to study. Okay, and we have also the colloquial verb bosser that we use a whole lot too. Remember, B-O-S-S-E-R. Okay, it means the same thing, it's to work and to study. Je bosse or je travaille, I study, I'm studying, I'm working. Une craie is a piece of chalk. Une craie, une craie. Like C-R-A-Y, une craie, craie, whatever that means. Une craie. On the board is au tableau. It's on the board. C'est au tableau. Au tableau. The board is le tableau. So, do you study a lot? Would be travaillez-vous beaucoup? Very pompous, very formal. Étudiez-vous beaucoup, which we never say. But I know in your French books you'll see that. So in your test you'll get that. On the exams you'll get that. In France, not at all. You say travaillez-vous beaucoup, which is very formal. So in normal French, I would say vous travaillez beaucoup. You study a lot or do you work a lot? Vous travaillez beaucoup? Do you listen to Pink? Écoutes-tu Pink? Listen you Pink. Okay. Écoutes-tu Pink? In normal French it would be tu écoutes Pink or t'écoutes Pink. T'écoutes Pink. An earring is une boucle d'oreille. Une boucle d'oreille. Okay, this is getting a little technical. Again, we're talking about the inversion. So if your goal is to speak French, really, disregard this. Don't waste your time with this. It's technical and you'll never use it in spoken French. If you're taking French at school, they'll bother you and they'll bug you with that, when you learn it, which is probably in French 1, second semester, I would say. Other than that, you won't really find a lot of use for it. Okay, here's a little rule. First, when you talk about the inversion, when you do the inversion and you have the third person singular followed by a vowel, which is on the third person singular mostly, ER verbs with avoir, with aller, you have to insert a T between the verb and the subject to avoid having clashing vowels, supposedly. You just insert a T for pronunciation's sake. So, aime-t-elle son cadeau? So, elle aime son cadeau. She likes her gift. Elle aime son cadeau. If you want to be very formal, you say aime-t-elle son cadeau. You have to insert a T so you don't have the two vowels next to each other. Aime-t-elle son cadeau? Okay. You say, is he buying bread? You say, achète-t-il du pain? Super formal. Achète-t-il du pain? Okay. Normal French, you say, il achète du pain? Il achète du pain? No, he's stealing the bread. Non, il vole le pain. Voler, remember, it's got two meanings. Voler is to steal or to fly. Voler, to steal and to fly. So, achète-t-il du pain? Non, il vole le pain. No, he's stealing the bread. What do you think? Does she prefer dogs with fur? Préfère-t-elle les chiens sans poil? Ooh, interesting. Préfère-t-elle les chiens sans poil? Un poil is a hair on your body. It's the same as fur for a dog, okay? So without fur. Fur is a general term, singular, like hair. While in French, hair, you consider each individual hair. So we'll make it plural. You have hairs on dogs and on people. Sans is the word without, as we've noted before, okay? Remember, it sounds just like 100, sans, C-E-N-T. Sans poil, without fur. Préfère-t-elle les chiens sans poil? Or, elle préfère les chiens sans poil. She prefers. Does she prefer dogs without fur? Okay. He looks sick. Il a l'air malade. That's a super useful one. I'll give you a few examples right now because if you can get it, it's great. Otherwise, we'll have a lesson on this later. But to say you look plus to look plus adjective, we say you have the air plus adjective. So you have to conjugate the verb avoir. Let me give you a few examples. There you go. For instance, tu as l'air triste, which we would pronounce t'as l'air triste, is you look sad. You have the air sad. T'as l'air triste. Tu as l'air triste. He looks disappointed is il a l'air déçu. He has the air disappointed. Disappointed is déçu. Remember the cd, cd is pronounced s. Déçu. Il a l'air déçu. He has the air disappointed. He looks disappointed. You guys or you sir look tired. Vous avez l'air fatigué. So you see we conjugate avoir. You guys have. Vous avez l'air fatigué. You look tired. Remember other words for tired would be crevé. We have a few. Let me give them to you. Very useful. We have crevé, exhausted, frazzled, crevé, colloquial, claqué, slang, but we use it quite a bit. Claqué, c'est slapped out. A slap is une claque, okay? Claqué. Mort, c'est I'm dead. Je suis mort. I'm beat. Je suis mort. Or je suis mort. D'accord? Moving on. Now, this is really technical, and that again, more than the previous one. If your goal is just to speak French, skip it. If you're taking this for school, yeah, you'll have to know and you'll only get tested on this when you learn that, which is in French 1B, and then it'll go away. You never talk about it again because you'll probably never use it again. Okay? We don't use it much. It's very formal. And the way they use it in books a lot of times is so twisted that it's wrong. And I hate that. It's terrible. They don't even know how to teach it. So there you go. When you ask a question, you want to use the inversion and you use a noun or So when you ask a question using the inversion and you use a noun, it's very strange, but in French we're going to have to, with the inversion, we'll have to use the noun and then do the inversion with verb pronoun. So we're kind of repeating the subject twice. The noun, verb, followed by the pronoun. Okay? So for instance, does Marie speak English? It would be Marie speaks she English. Marie parle-t-elle anglais? It's very formal French, beautiful French. But again, we won't use it when we speak. It's too formal. But when you write in books, literature, yes. At school, yes. But other than that, no. I mean, when I say at school, again, when you learn it, and then it'll go away. You won't talk about it again, really. Let's see more examples. Does the teacher live in LA? Ooh, oh, looks familiar. Le prof, the teacher, lives he in LA, and I'm inserting the T to avoid having the clashing vowels. Le prof habite-t-il à Los Angeles? Le prof habite-t-il à Los Angeles? D'accord. Do dogs play tennis? Dogs play they tennis? See, I don't need to add an extra T, insert an extra T, because I already have the liaison that I can make with the ending, the ENT ending. So I don't need to add an extra T. Les chiens jouent-ils au tennis? Dogs play they tennis? Remember, I'm saying les because I'm talking about dogs in general. If you can say some in the sentence, you say des. It's not the case here. You don't say, do some dogs play tennis? That'd be different from what I'm saying. I'm saying, do dogs in general play tennis? That's why I'm saying les. Les chiens jouent-ils au tennis? Okay. A regular way to ask the question would be, les chiens jouent au tennis? Dogs play tennis? Est-ce que les chiens jouent au tennis? That's how people would really say it, okay? This is if you want to write a book or an essay for school, which could happen. Be nice. But it doesn't mean that the other two are wrong, okay? You could say, est-ce qu'il joue au tennis? It's fine, okay? It's totally acceptable. Est-ce que is very acceptable, okay? Subject verb, you know, you don't write a nice essay with a subject verb. It's, you know, French kids grew up learning French as a first language. You know, teachers tell them, don't do subject verb when you write, okay? It's not nice enough, okay? I'm focused. Focus is concentrated, and it's concentré. Concentré. Je suis concentré. Remember, and we naturally drop the E and blend the S and the J together into je suis concentré. I'm focused. Je suis concentré. Other example, does she play tennis? Does she play golf? Elle joue au golf. Est-ce qu'elle joue au golf? Okay, I'm trying to give you an example for each of the ways of asking the question. So does she play golf would be, elle joue au golf. That's what we use the most. Est-ce qu'elle joue au golf? Or joue-t-elle au golf? Very nice and fancy and formal. Is she sticking out her tongue? Would be, elle tire la langue. Tirer is the verb to pull. Is she pulling out her tongue, really? Elle tire la langue. La langue is the tongue or language. It's both. Elle tire la langue. Is she sticking out her tongue? Are you buying the car? Would be, tu achètes la voiture. Tu achètes. We don't say the ES. La voiture. If I said it faster, I would say, t'achètes. T'achètes la voiture. I'll drop the U. T'achètes la voiture. That's how the French will say it. T'achètes la voiture. Est-ce que tu achètes la voiture? Or est-ce que t'achètes la voiture? Achètes-tu la voiture? The key doesn't work. Remember the verb to work in that sense? Like, it doesn't work. I tried, it doesn't work. Is the verb to walk. Marcher. If you don't know that yet, time to learn. Okay, we don't really say fonctionner. You know, if you don't know how to say it, usually people with the verb fonctionner will understand, but that's not how we would say it. We use the verb to walk. So the key doesn't work is la clé ne marche pas. The key doesn't walk. La clé ne marche pas. So if you want to say it doesn't work, you say ça ne marche pas. Or as I said, you know, we talked about the negative form. We say we skip the ne, so we say ça marche pas. It doesn't work. Ça marche pas. It's not working. Ça marche pas. Ça ne marche pas. And you can say ça marche. Sorry, I forgot the c'est dit. Ça marche à jeudi. That means that works. See you on Thursday. Ça marche à jeudi. D'accord? Ensuite, does Obama like basketball? Does Obama like basketball? Again, we say Obama likes basketball. Obama aime le basket. Obama aime le basket. Est-ce qu'Obama aime le basket? Does Obama like basketball? Est-ce qu'Obama aime le basket? Very formal would be Obama aime-t-il le basket? Obama likes he basketball. Obama aime-t-il le basket? He's in the front row would be il est au premier rang. Slowly, I'll make the liaison between the T and the O. Il est au premier rang. Il est au premier rang. If I said faster, I would say il est au premier rang. I would just skip the liaison. There's nothing else to contract. Il est au premier rang. Okay? All right. Let's do a little exercise. Let's summarize before we do. Okay, first way of asking a question, the way we use the most, about 60-70% of the time, subject followed by the verb, looks like a statement. Tu aimes la France or t'aimes la France? The second way we use the most, and you can use in writing as well if you want to avoid that one, is est-ce que. Est-ce que plus subject plus verb. Est-ce que tu aimes la France? Or est-ce que t'aimes la France? And the third way, which is very formal, which is the inversion, verb subject, would be aimes-tu la France? So let's try that. We'll do a few questions like these. Just hit pause on the video if you want to try to do them by yourself, and hit play every time you're ready to hear the answers. And we'll go over them fairly quickly, actually. Number one, the answer would be oui, je mange des pommes. Oh, there's a long story about this, really. Long story. One day I'll take the time to explain to you what this is. If you know a French person, ask him what this is and what it has to do with French culture, French history, really. It does. I could talk about this for half an hour. Oui, je mange des pommes. Oui, je mange des pommes. That means, yes, I'm eating some apples. The question was, do you eat apples? Or I eat apples. Do you eat apples? How do you say, do you eat apples? Vous mangez des pommes, subject verb. You eat apples. You eat some apples. Vous mangez des pommes. And I'm using vous just because I'm being formal. He was the French president. You have to be formal. Any adults, really, whom you don't know, you have to be formal and use the vous form, okay? Only someone you know, a friend or a child, you can say tu, okay? The second way, you just add est-ce que before the subject and the verb. So est-ce que, like do you eat some apples? You eat apples. Est-ce que vous mangez des pommes? Est-ce que vous mangez, et is the easy, et, des pommes? We stop on the M, we don't say the yes. And the third way, which is formal, the inversion, mangez-vous des pommes? Mangez-vous des pommes? All right? How about this one? The answer is, oui, nous sommes fatigués. Again, nous sommes fatigués. Remember, I told you the nous is almost never used in French. Spoken French, that's very formal, so we use it for written French. But most people really say, oui, on est fatigué. Oui, on est fatigué. Just for the sake of it. Oui, nous sommes fatigués. Yes, we are tired. What's the question? Are you tired? We're talking to the two of them, so plural. So the first way would be vous êtes fatigué. You'll notice that I added an E and an S because it's an adjective. The adjectives agree with the noun that they modify. And so there are two girls, plural and feminine. Hence the E and S. Vous êtes fatigué. I always have to make the liaison between subject and verb. So you are tired. Vous êtes fatigué. I can say, is it that you are tired? Est-ce que vous êtes fatigué? Or are you tired, just like in English, but with inversion, which is very polite in French. Êtes-vous fatigué? Êtes-vous fatigué? Okay, which almost no one would say. Remember, other words for fatigué, you cannot stick to fatigué alone, otherwise you'll never understand the French when you go to France. You have to use the adjective crever and claquer, I would say at least. Crever and claquer. I'll repeat those words over and over to make sure you get used to them and memorize them, okay? There you go. Again, crever, claquer mean fatigué in slang. Ensuite, oui, j'ai faim. Oui, j'ai faim. Yes, I'm hungry. Yes, I have hunger. Yes, I have hunger. J'ai faim. What's the question? Are you hungry? We're talking to this kid here. So we can say tu to him, okay? What would it be? Number one, you say, you have hunger. Remember to say, I'm hungry. You say, I have hunger. So you say, you have hunger for, are you hungry? Tu as faim. And remember the French would say, t'as faim. Est-ce que tu as faim? Or est-ce que t'as faim? Or as-tu faim? Have you hunger? Okay? As-tu faim? Remember, if anyone stays, if anyone just leaves you at that, to be hungry, to have hunger, he's almost wasting your time. It's true. It's the proper way of saying to be hungry. But the French use another way of saying to be hungry that you have to know. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on a lot of things in French conversation. That's what it really means. When people talk about French conversation, conversational French, they say it, they don't apply it, they don't teach it. Okay, it's not just about speaking. There are words that people actually use in everyday French that you need to know. They're colloquial and they're slang, but that's language. That's what it's made of. That's what everybody uses every day. And that's the reason why so many people who take French in other classes go to France and say, I just don't understand anything that they say. Yes, because you don't learn the right things. Schools, methods don't teach the right things. They just teach things that belong to books and they don't get out of books. Okay, so here's a slang way of saying I'm hungry, I'm starving to death, which the French will use all the time. Okay, this is slang, but the French use it a lot. It's not that bad because dalle is not a bad word in itself. Okay, but actually there'd be a long story to tell you about where the word dalle comes from. It comes from the Middle Ages. That's what's fascinating about language. But j'ai la dalle means I'm starving to death. Okay, j'ai la dalle. You have to know that one if you want to understand French people. You don't use it in an essay, okay? It's slang, okay? But people will say it, okay? You don't have to use it. But if you want to be able to understand people, French movies, French talk shows, the radio, have a conversation, you have to understand that, okay? Otherwise, you'll miss out on it. You'll be lost without it. Understand that, okay? All right, let's move on. Oui, nous regardons la télé. Again, once again, I wrote nous even though it's super formal. People really say oui, on regarde la télé. Oui, on regarde la télé. Even though, same thing, we say nous regardons la télé. I could say it faster and say oui, nous regardons. I'd skip the E, even if it's the new and it's formal. So oui, nous regardons la télé. Oui, on regarde la télé. Yes, we are watching TV. Yes, we watch TV. The question would be, are you watching TV? You can say vous regardez la télé ou vous regardez la télé. I'll skip the E here if I speak a little fast. Vous regardez la télé. Vous regardez la télé. Est-ce que, is it that, or do you watch TV? Est-ce que vous regardez la télé? In other words, est-ce que vous regardez la télé? If I say it faster, I'll drop the E. And regardez-vous la télé? Watch you TV? Watch you television? Regardez-vous la télé? Very formal. Okay? Oui, j'aime la glace à la vanille. Yes, I like vanilla ice cream. Oui, j'aime la glace à vanille. The question would be, do you like vanilla ice cream? Let's say we know her. She's young. Let's say she's a friend. You say that you use the to form. You can say, tu aimes la glace à la vanille. You like the ice cream at the vanilla. Tu aimes la glace à la vanille. And if I say it faster, the way I would say to a friend, I will drop the you and say t'aimes. T'aimes la glace à la vanille? Est-ce que tu aimes la glace à la vanille? And again, if I say it faster, I'll drop that you again. I would say, est-ce que t'aimes la glace à la vanille? And like you, vanilla ice cream, aimes-tu la glace à la vanille? D'accord? Non, nous ne regardons pas la télé. No, we're not watching TV. Again, I'm using the very formal nous. Most people really say, non, on ne regarde pas la télé. Non, on ne regarde pas la télé. That's what the French would really say. So, no, we're not watching TV. The question would be, are you guys watching TV? So, we're going to use the you plural, vous, right? Vous regardez la télé? You watch TV? Vous regardez la télé? Est-ce que vous regardez la télé? Or, est-ce que vous regardez la télé? Regardez-vous la télé? Watch you TV? Then, oui, je parle français. Or, if I say it faster, I would say, oui, je parle français. I'll drop the E, connect blend the P and the J together into sh. Je parle français. That's how the French will say it again. Don't expect them to say je parle français. They say je parle français. Oui, je parle français. The question is, do you speak French? How do you ask that? If we're talking to her, we'll be formal. Okay, we don't know her. She's a grown-up. She's an adult. So we'll be formal, use the vous form. Subject verb will be vous parlez français? Do you speak French? Or you speak French? Vous parlez français? With the est-ce que, you just add est-ce que in front of the first question. Vous parlez français? You say est-ce que vous parlez français? Est-ce que, like do. Is it that you speak French? Est-ce que vous parlez français? Or parlez-vous français? Very formal. D'accord? Jodie Foster, if you look her up on YouTube and you see she's fluent in French, no accent, beautiful French. Oui, j'aime Paris. Yes, I like Paris. Or I love Paris. The question would be, do you like Paris? So, you like Paris would be, vous aimez Paris? I'm making the liaison between subject and verb. That one is mandatory. Vous aimez Paris? Est-ce que vous aimez Paris? Est-ce que vous aimez Paris? Or aimez-vous Paris for the inversion? Okay. I get this question a lot. How do you tell the difference between to like and to love with aimer? Very good question. Usually aimer alone is to love. Okay, usually. But if you really want to say, oh gosh, I love that movie. I love ice cream. You can use the verb adorer. Okay, it's not like adore in English. I know adore in English sounds very pompous or very strong. But in French, it's fine. You say, j'adore New York. I love New York. J'adore New York. So usually, if you talk about someone and you say aime for a person, it's to love. J'aime Michael. J'aime Suzanne. J'aime Frédéric. J'aime Isabelle, Françoise, whatever. That's I love. If you want to talk about a person and making sure people understand it's to like, not to love, you have to use the verb bien aimer. And again, in books, they make the mistake of sticking the bien after the aimer because they don't understand how you put these together. But it's bien aimer. And when you use it, you say j'aime bien. J'aime bien Valérie. I like Valerie. J'aime bien Valérie. And the bien diminishes the intensity of the verb. It's counterintuitive, I know, because you would think that bien would enhance the aimer, but it doesn't, okay? It lowers it to just like as opposed to love. So j'aime bien Valérie is I like Valerie. You know, in English you always say you like her or you like her. You know, in French you say tu l'aimes bien ou tu l'aimes? Because tu l'aimes is you love her, tu l'aimes bien, you like her, okay? There you go. Yes, he's hungry. He is hungry, obviously. So yes, he's hungry. Yes, he has hunger. Remember in French you say to have hunger. So he has hunger. So is he hungry? How are you going to ask the question? Is he hungry? Il a faim. He has hunger. Il a faim. Is it that he has hunger? Or does he have hunger? Est-ce qu'il a faim? A-t-il faim? Has he hunger? A-t-il faim? D'accord? Is he hungry? Remember, I'm adding the T here. I'm inserting the T to separate the A and the il. The A and the I. D'accord? Ensuite, non, il n'aime pas les araignées. Non, il n'aime pas les araignées. No, he doesn't like spiders. He doesn't like, remember the N apostrophe and pas, spiders. Il n'aime pas les araignées. What's the question? Does he like spiders? Il aime les araignées? Est-ce qu'il aime les araignées? Aime-t-il les araignées? Again, I'm inserting the T to avoid having the two vowels next to each other. Aime-t-il les araignées? Again, we almost never use this in spoken French. It's very formal. Il aime les araignées or est-ce qu'il aime les araignées? Araignée. That's how we pronounce spider. Araignée. Araignée. OK? Est-ce qu'il aime les araignées? D'accord. Ensuite, oui, Alex est là. Yes, Alex is here. I'm here. Okay, Alex est là. What's the question? Is Alex there? Okay, let's see. How would you say that? Is Alex there? You see what the trick is on that one? Let's see if you know. Before getting to the explanation for that one, it seems like a detail, but I get the question asked a lot, and it's a good question. What's the difference? How do you say here and there? What's the deal with ici and là? The dictionary, again, my rant about the dictionary and books as opposed to reality. The dictionary says that ici is here, là is there. It's true sometimes, especially when you want to be able to tell, oh, this is here and that is there. But if you, in general, we say, oh, it's right there, it's right here, or is John here? Let me see if John is here. In French, we're going to use là all the time for both here and there most of the time, okay? Unless you really want to tell the difference between here as opposed to there. But that's why we always say, est-ce que John est là? Is John here? I would say, est-ce que John est là? So, Alex est là. Is John there? Is Alex there? Is Alex here? Alex est là. Est-ce qu'Alex est là? Is it that Alex is here? And remember, you use a noun, and with inversion, you have to say the noun, the name, and use the pronoun again. So, Alex, is he there? Alex est-il là? Okay, again, if you don't get it, don't bother. It's for school. If you go over this lesson, you have to understand. If not, don't worry about it. Okay, you'll see that in books only. Alex est-il là? Alex, is he there? You know, the house, is it in Oxford? La maison est-elle à Oxford? Does John live in London? John, lives he in London? John habite-t-il à Londres? Again, super formal French. For those of you who go to school and have to learn that. Otherwise, don't worry about it that much. Last one. Oui, le voisin a froid. Yes, the neighbor is cold. Yes, the neighbor has cold. Remember, we say to have cold. Okay? How are you going to ask the question? Le voisin a froid. Est-ce que le voisin a froid? Le voisin a-t-il froid? Again, I'm using the noun. So, le voisin a-t-il froid? The neighbor, has he cold? So, the neighbor has cold, so the neighbor is cold. Is it that the neighbor is cold, or is it that the neighbor has cold? The neighbor has he cold. So, le voisin a froid. Est-ce que le voisin a froid? Le voisin a-t-il froid? When you get to a more advanced level, I'll teach you different ways in colloquial and slang of saying to be cold, because we have plenty of other ways that we use and that people prefer instead of to be cold, which is very standard. Remember, the French use a lot of slang, so you need, and colloquial terms, so you need to know them. Otherwise, you're learning almost for nothing. You're not going to talk to books, okay? That's what all these books and schools prepare you for. Talking to books. Pointless, useless, okay? Remember, the masculine for neighbor is le voisin, the feminine is la voisine, okay? That's the female neighbor. La voisine. D'accord? That's it for today. I hope you learned something. If you have questions, please send them my way. Send me an email at alex@language-city.com. Otherwise, I'll see you soon for another lesson. Salut!